Welcome to Lights in the Night with Russ Johnson. Join us in our never-ending quest for knowledge on extraterrestrial life, UFOs, and the beyond. Your host, Russ, will lead you on an intergalactic quest to discover alien existence and life expansion. Make sure to call in at 888-994-4995 Studio A to ask questions and get involved. And visit us online at lightsinthenight.org. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for Lights in the Night.
Well, good evening. Welcome to Lights in the Night. I'm Russ Johnson. And we had a couple programs and we talked about Area 51, Grooms Lake, S4. We talked about being abducted. We talked about aliens occupying human bodies and the whole 9 yards and erasing memories when you are abducted. And there must be some books out there that tell you a person who has been abducted what you should be looking for. I had a couple at home, but I didn't bring them with me. But anyway, we have Zena. She has her own radio program. Zena, talk about your radio program.
You'll find me under Call Me Zena, but on there is my name, Sally Bernard.
Okay.
It's a little confusing, as I said on the last show.
Right.
Right. So.
And your program is when?
It's on Monday at 3 o'clock. It's a call-in show, so you can call in with any questions. My topic is not usually on this, but I'm getting really interested in doing this with the UFOs.
Okay.
And you can see and view previous recordings of the show.
Well, you have a lot of information on UFOs last week and the week before.
Right.
So I just thought we would continue that conversation.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's such an animal called Area 51, S4, Grooms Lake, and all that. Well, have you been doing any research on that? Do you know anything about Area 51 and what goes on there?
I do. I actually don't do a whole lot. I'm beginning to now to do the research because somehow my memory is remembering certain things and they do come to me. There's I always talk about the collective on my show and they give me the answers. Right. But I believe that I obviously know more than I actually realize. So that's how it kind of works.
Well, the big deal was in 1947, July, Roswell, New Mexico, there was a Roswell crash.
Right.
Now, ever since then, what can I say? Volumes of books and testimonies and discussions around that deal about Roswell. Do you get any feeling about what happened there?
Well, I'm not too familiar. I mean, I know that there was a crash, and I know, and I believe that in it's not what I've actually come out with before, but they know let's say it was a cover-up. Right. They did arrive and they were here, and we have many what I'm going to call aliens here. Right. But I do believe today, and that's why I'm happy to be on your show, Russell, because I believe that we need to have disclosure now. So a lot has been covered up, which I can understand because there'd be absolute confusion. So we're doing it gradually. And there are programs out today, like people that are familiar that may be listening to the show, listen to Gaia, and many people have come out with their stories, which is very, very beneficial. I'm just one of quite a lot of people that have been contacted and have been abducted.
What do you think about Gaia? That's David Wilcox and that's Corey Good. What do you think about this?
I think it's an amazing show. I love it. Right. I believe that the people come on there, and as I'm doing now, they're coming forward with information that we need to know because there needs to be disclosure. We are, as far as I'm not here to change anyone's mind. I can only go from what I've experienced. We are certainly not alone. There are many, many planets out there, and we are visited by these people.
You know, we had the Webb telescope, James Webb. That's out there finding other new planets on a day-by-day basis.
All the time. And what came to me, in the beginning I thought, maybe there's a few. But today, and I've been contacted too by telepathy, there are thousands of planets. I mean, that's hard to take in, even for me. But why would we think we're the only people here in this universe? Yeah. There are many, many different planets.
Yeah, thousands and thousands and millions and millions and billions and trillions of planets out there. That's a lot of space out there. So, but we, in this section of the galaxy, you know, we have Pluto and Saturn.
Exactly,
and whatever.
Yeah.
So, somebody had said once that this is the outback of the universe, the Earth. This is like a prison colony.
Yes.
Have you heard that phrase?
Yes, I have. I have.
What do they mean by that?
Well, it means I keep hearing the school of hard knocks, okay? That's the best way that I can explain it. We have it hard here, but that's good for our growth, because ultimately it doesn't matter what planet or what you believe. I believe we are on a spiritual journey. So I'm not taking the spirituality away from this. But we choose, and this is coming to me right now, where we're going to learn more on our journey. You actually volunteer, believe it or not, to come to this planet.
That's what they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
They say that you choose your parents, you choose to come here at this time.
Yes.
How,
and many people that maybe are suffering right now, they're going, why did we choose here? But it's a quick way to begin to start your journey and wake up.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah, because even to be born, the spermatozoa, there must be 400 million spermatozoa that try to climb up the fallopian tube to get to the egg.
Absolutely.
Out of the 400 million, only one get there usually, right?
Yep.
So
and they're telling me to tell you, what do? They used to. I don't know if they still do that. As soon as you arrive, they go... So I just got that, because there is humor with that. They smack you and they hit you. My goodness me.
But at least you made it.
Yes.
You climbed all the way up the fallopian tube, impregnated the egg, and then you had to rest for 9 months, right?
Well, yeah, we're learning. We're learning in that rest for 9 months, yes.
And then you got to hit this planet, you're sucking on this air, right? And then now you have to learn how to walk and talk and crawl and breathe, the whole 9 yards. That's not easy.
But my guide who came here, for people that don't know my story, Aldo, explained a lot to me. There are other ways, and I believe they do that they come in, but that's another show.
The walk-in.
Well, there's walk-ins too. There's not as many as we think.
Okay.
But there are walk-ins, but there are other ways to come into this.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that you've been here more than once?
Yeah. I think I was one of the first to arrive on this planet. That's why I've got all this information.
So you've been here more than one time?
I've been here many times, Russ, as far as I can figure out.
And you came the last time by this inception, the same?
I came in the way that we accept.
Why not walk in?
Because that involves a lot, which also is another show. But for a person to walk into someone, we have contracts here. So we have to have a contract with someone else that may be passing. I actually did in a roundabout way. I came back, which is another show too, in this particular lifetime, because what happened to me, I changed. I was in hospital. Without getting into detail, I can actually. Yeah, I was getting chest pains one night. I was going through a lot, and I basically said, I need to go to hospital, but I was giving up. This is what my guide helped me understand. I was ready to leave, not by committing suicide, because I don't suggest that anyone does that, but I was tired. I was very tired. I went into hospital, and I remember them telling me that I had too many, I believe, white blood cells or something.
I see.
That's all I remember. They took me in, and the next day, I was here. I came back. My friend, the very first thing she said to me, who came to visit me, she said, "Oh my God, you look like you just died." But I still didn't put 2 and 2 together until a couple of weeks later, when I was, actually at that time I was being visited, but I was projecting myself all over the place. I was different. Everything about me was different. So in my particular, what happened to me is, and they told me to call myself Xena. So from what I can tell you, I can only tell you my side of this story, I did actually pass, but I came back because Xena had more knowledge. That was my higher self. So it's a little complicated to understand. But then I started getting all these visitations.
Well, I watch a lot of Gaia, Cosmic Connections, Ancient Aliens, and on and beyond belief of George and Nobody. But there are people who have that near-death experience, and they cross over and they see lights and see all these whatever people talking, and then they come back. They finish their project, if you will. Yes.
Again, as my guide, who was my guide here, explained this to me. It doesn't happen a lot of times, but because from a previous life, I had the memory of all what I'm talking about now, although I didn't remember it. I didn't want to waste, so to speak, this lifetime. So I came in and I came back. And that's why my name is, it's Sally, but they told me to call myself Xena for people that are listening, and I'm sure that your audience has a lot of knowing about this.
Let's assume that you, in the next 10 years, 20 years, whatever, you leave again. Are you coming back?
Yeah.
You are?
I am.
Why would you come back?
Because I say that now. Of course, I might change my mind, but I believe I don't know it all by any means.
There are other places to go, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is the school of hard knocks.
Oh,
I have to
okay.
go through this
It's a
again until I
tough
get
one.
rid of but we have to go through karma here. In order to go to another higher dimension, karma is, we choose it, we have free will. So
Right.
I could go on another 20 lifetimes with all the stuff that's happening to me here, but I don't want to do that. So I'm choosing to go through my karma, which is not easy. Okay, it's not easy, but it's getting easier.
Okay.
So the next time I come back, my life will be a little easier than this lifetime.
For those people who do have near-death experiences, have you talked to any of them? Have been in contact with anybody
I've
like
met
that?
a few people, yes. A
Right.
very good friend, and how I met her, my girlfriend Mindy. I was literally led to her. I got in my car. It's another story, but this happened not that long ago. She's a hairdresser, and I'd always used my same hairdresser, but for some reason that day I said, I need to go to another hairdresser, and I'm pretty loyal to people. And my car literally took me to her salon. I didn't know her, never met her. I sit down in her chair. She knew I was an artist, and she said to me, just out of the blue, I am what I've experienced, what you've experienced, and there's 3 of us in here. I didn't even know the place.
Wow.
She's one of my best friends today.
Wow, wow.
So.
Your show is on Mondays.
Mondays at 3 o'clock.
And so people can call in.
They can call in,
I mean,
yes.
you're clairvoyant, you're intuitive, right? You're psychic. You can do remote viewing?
I can.
You
Yes,
can.
I can.
All of the
Yes.
above?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to hang out with you.
Absolutely right. You don't know the relief it is that I finally met someone other than Aldo who passed that gets it. Okay, thank you for coming into my life.
So people can call you on your show.
Yes, they can.
And get the information they need about themselves.
About whatever they want to ask. I mean, many people may not find this topic, people that are tuning in now are interested. But
Right.
not everybody is
Right.
interested in this. So
Right.
whatever they want
But
to
they
know.
are interested in themselves.
Yes.
So they
yes,
might have a
yes.
personal.
They can do a personal. I can do personal
So
readings.
that number is?
I always get this wrong. It's 888-994-4995.
That's right.
It's
That's
written
it.
up there.
49.95.
Okay, I got it. I'm psychic, but I can't remember the number.
Okay, so that's every Monday
At 3 o'clock, it's a call-in.
on this channel.
And they can, if they want to listen to recordings, I am on YouTube.
Oh.
They can also go onto my Facebook, Call Me Zena, and they can go into past recordings.
So if
on
I
the
were
show.
to go to YouTube and punch in,
Sally Bernard. But
Oh.
I kind of encourage people to, because I'm not sure how much is on YouTube, but to go into Facebook under Call Me Zena,
Okay.
and they can get the past recordings.
okay. Let's talk about the different species of aliens. There are many, right? But some people say that when we look at the reptilians, some of them are benevolent, some of them are malevolent, right?
Right.
Good and bad.
Yes.
How would you look at that?
Well, again, I believe that we have to have balance here.
Right.
So there's, yes, amongst them especially, there are the good and the bad. I didn't know too much about this, and then I began to understand so much more. It's balance. So many of who we may talk about, other than the reptilians, are here to help us. And I'm not saying the reptilians are here to help us too, but there's a group, and I'll talk about what I know, who are here that are able to so-called control us.
Oh, I see.
Which is okay.
I
It's
see.
all right, but we need to know this. It's important. So on that particular race, it's more complicated. But the majority of aliens that are around are here to help us.
Yeah, would you call them the Dracos?
Yes. That's what. There's many names for
Many
that,
names,
actually,
yeah.
many
yeah.
names.
But the Greys not in that category?
No, they're not. As far as I know, from all the ones that I've been able to correspond with, from what I know and
Right.
from what I'm hearing, I would say the majority of them are here to help us. They're helping us because
Okay.
we're, doing many things to this planet.
Right.
So yes, do they abduct us? Absolutely. Do they do tests on us? Absolutely.
And they have kids with us.
And they have kids with us.
On
yes.
spaceships.
Absolutely.
And there are
yes.
many of those hybrids on spaceships, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Now, they will be coming back here among us pretty soon.
Yes.
What do you think about
I
the
believe
hybrid?
that many of them here too.
Oh, they're here?
And some of the children that are coming in today at a very early age understand this. But again, they're able to wipe our memory away.
Right.
But one thing that I do
But the hybrids too?
The hybrid, yes. But they're more able to understand what's
Right.
going on.
Right.
But many children are coming back, and we'll go into previous lives, with many of the talents that they had. All you need to do is look at some of these shows. America's Got Talent. These little kids are singing like they were 40 years old.
True.
So we're actually coming into what I would call, we're coming into a different phase here on Earth. We're coming to accept more today, but there's still a long way to go, Russell. And
So when the hybrids get here and mix among the rest of the population,
Okay.
how do you think that's going to work out?
Well, they have to go with care and caution, because just like me coming forward, there are going to be people, because even if I was listening to this show 20 years ago, I'd say, who is that lady talking? And that's me. So what we do is we have to go carefully with them. But the main thing is disclosure, but we have to do it very subtly, which they give us disclosure actually on a lot of the movies.
The other piece that people don't like to talk about is that whether it be male or female, they abducted, go on a spaceship, cohabitate, then and then the child is conceived,
Right.
And sometimes they keep them.
Yes, they do.
And raise them, right? And then they're going to bring them back. But how do you know whether you participated in any of that?
As a person, as for myself, I
Yeah.
can talk about, because I had help. I really had help, but it was only like from 18 years ago. Someone who I knew this, and we had a guest on your show not from the surface of this earth. He used to tell me, but little, not to scare me, that he really wasn't from this earth. He was from underneath here.
I see.
So you have to go very carefully, but it's something that you have to begin to train your mind to look a little differently. Just know that my words were, anything is possible. To me today, when I talk about it, it's not as crazy as what I thought 20 years ago.
Okay.
Why would we think we're alone? So people that are feeling that, I would tell them to go slowly, talk to people, even as myself, or people that can help you on this journey, and you begin to open up and experience things. It happens to quite a lot of people. They just don't know, because our memory is
they don't know they have
right.
children.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And I feel today, and I only realized that myself with knowing this for a while, that I definitely had a child with them. Absolutely.
Is that right? So you have a child with them?
I feel that I do. I mean, I can't physically prove that, but I go with my intuition.
Right.
Yes, I do believe I have a
Right,
child.
right. I guess there are many people, they would be surprised if they knew for a fact that they had children.
Well, they wouldn't be able to comprehend it.
Okay, right,
It's difficult.
right.
It's
True,
very difficult.
true.
I guess I'm ready now. I'm ready
That's
to
good.
experience and expose what I am now understanding. It's
Right,
important.
right.
It's important.
Now, you mentioned people who here, not walking on the planet, but living inside the earth.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, your guest on the last show,
Yeah, Hollow Earth, he talked
Hollow
about.
Earth, which I don't know a whole lot about. My guide who was here used to talk to me a bit, but he didn't give me too much information. But he used to say from a different part, which your guest had explained, like the middle of the Earth.
Right.
There's a whole, what we would call a universe underneath, as there is in Antarctica, in places like that, which I've been given a lot of information
right?
on that. So would it be so difficult to suddenly say, well, yes, there's a whole civilization underneath us in the middle of the earth? For me, I'm ready to understand whatever I am given right
Antarctica, talk about that a bit.
now. Antarctica has been going on for, as you know, I think you know a little, well, you know
Since
about
the
this
30s,
too. Yeah.
yeah.
There's a whole group of people from various different nationalities, countries, and also from what we would call the aliens. It's very, very vast. There is what I have seen, I believe I saw a big mothership down there, what we would call, and they have their different sections down there. And I believe, and it's beginning to come out a little bit, that the people are in power, like have powerful jobs here. I don't necessarily want to mention presidents because I don't have proof,
Right.
but many people that are kind of in the know, that are ruling our country, know about this.
You know, William Tompkins, before he left here, the book I think was Chosen by Extraterrestrials is the title of the book. It's
Okay.
William Tompkins. And he says that all the governments of the world are controlled by aliens.
I believe it.
Is that right?
I absolutely
he said
believe
all
that.
the governments of the world.
Absolutely. Well, from what I had learned from my guide in physicality, is that everything that goes on is already known to everybody.
I
He
see.
used to say the words to me, which I found very interesting: divide and conquer. So everything, the wars, whatever we do, it's so difficult to take in, but it's all pre-planned.
Dawn, so you on Brooklyn Cafe all the time, and you know this lady, you see her all the time. What would you ask of her? What would you ask her?
I'm just amazed that she knows the aliens, she sees the ships and all this. But being part of the inception and then coming back over and over again, every time Sally's here, I'm amazed more of what I'm hearing. I had no idea that any of this exists. So my big question is, what's the message? What were you sent back here to learn or
I
to
was
teach?
here to, I think, open people's minds, Dawn, to realize a little bit about what's going on here. We are controlled. I do not mind coming out with this today. At one point, I didn't want to. So we are controlled. So again, there has to be a balance. So we have to have both sides of, so to speak, the coin. So I'm here to show people a way, which my guide Aldo used to say to me, there's a third kind of person here, to set an example of accepting both sides of this, but to walk that road to let humanity, this is what they're telling me, to open up to, you have to open up in the beginning. You don't have to know all this, but just keep an open mind. We will save our planet that way eventually. If we don't do it, there are dimensions, we'll stay where we are on this dimension. We need to open up, to experience, to go higher.
So the message is to save the planet, to elevate our energy, our subconscious?
It's a little of everything, because in order to go, there are different levels of dimensions, and this is also another show. But if we stay, so to speak, grounded here with all the information that we're taught, we're not learning anything. And in order to get to another higher dimension, we have to kind of cleanse ourselves of all this, and this is what I'm coming through very strong right now.
Okay.
So as we do that, and it doesn't happen in one lifetime, but I think I'm getting to the end of my lifetimes here, I feel, and many people are, just to begin to open up. Otherwise, this planet won't be here as we know it. I'm not going to say it won't be here, but it won't be here as we know it. There is another one waiting. I don't want to scare other people. But the ones that are learning this will go to the new planet, if that kind of makes sense. That's what I'm hearing.
The duality of it
Yes,
all, huh?
yes.
The ascension, you mentioned, that's when we go from what, the third
To the fifth.
to the fifth.
Fifth, yes.
So we're in the process of doing that, going from the third.
Absolutely. This is
Okay.
the time to go to the fifth. That's why it's so important.
Okay.
Our information, not just me. There are many people
What
like
would you
myself.
tell people to do for, they listen to this show, and you talk about aliens and underground bases and Antarctica, you talk about shifting, babies being born on spaceships. What would you tell people to do in terms of educating themselves in the next minute?
First thing that, very quickly, just please keep an open mind. Don't say it can't be possible. Don't say it is real. Just keep an open mind, and gradually the information will flow.
Zena, thank you very much
Thank
for being
you very
on the
much for
program.
having me.
And your program is when?
It's Monday at 3 o'clock. Call
Right.
me Zena.
And you
Just-
can always call 888-994-4995 to talk to you about issues,
Anything.
about
It's-
anything.
Absolutely.
Well, this is Light is for the Night, and I really appreciate you being here. Zena, Russ Johnson, thank you very much. Same time, same place. Next week, I'll see you right here at Lights in the Night.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Lights in the Night. Be sure to catch us every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you missed a show, be sure to head to our Facebook page, Lights in the Night with Russ Johnson. You can find us on all social media platforms and our website at lightsinthenight.org. We will see you next week, and as always, keep your eyes and ears peeled for Lights in the Night.